Perfect. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar on 5 tools to streamline your social media strategy with Allison James's very own Danielle Brummett, who is our Director of Marketing. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that Allison James Estates and Homes is a nationwide brokerage which offers 100% commission, 100% support, and 0 franchise fees. We have a plan that caters to agents of all levels of production. Why split your commission if you don't need to? You earned it all, so shouldn't you keep it all? Our goal at Allison James is to always give back to our agents by providing education, training sessions, live webinars, live events, and full broker support with the most up-to-date tools and technology available. We are always looking for new tools and ways to be able to provide them to our agents at a lower or discounted price so that you can keep your hard-earned money. For example, one of the newest tools that we've added at Allison James is our very own app that can be downloaded in the Apple Store, Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. Today's webinar is sponsored by Movement Mortgage. To learn more information about Allison James, please visit www.ajicareers.com. Let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, please go ahead and submit your questions into the chat box of the Zoom control panel, and Danielle will answer all of your questions at the end of the presentation. I'm now going to go ahead and pass it over to our speaker, Danielle. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning. All right, guys, so I will dive right in. I'm going to share my screen here. Just to start, if you guys want to drop in the chat where you are tuning in from here, I would love to hear that. And then also, if there's anything specific that you are struggling with on social media right now, anything that is a roadblock that you run into, kind of what takes up the most of your time when you are engaging on social media, I would love to see that in the chat so that we can kind of come back to that later. But just to kind of dive in and get started right away here. My background in social media is, oh, it doesn't have something in, so let's see. We've got New Hampshire, we've got Washington, we've got Vegas. That's awesome. So my background in social media is, it wasn't what I thought I was going to be doing with my life. I actually have a degree in environmental studies. So this was not at all what was planned for me. I actually started grad school in environmental studies as well. And then while I was there, I kind of just decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. I realized that it wasn't really the future that I saw for myself, the career that I saw for myself. And so while I was in grad school, I did some soul searching, and I actually had created a wellness Instagram that was just kind of for fun. It was not for any intention. It was just to hold myself accountable, to connect with other people that were into fitness. And somehow it took off, and I was able to monetize it, created a business out of it for myself. And that was kind of where my journey with social media began. And it was all kind of self-taught. I learned as I went along, and I, took different courses and figured out how to edit photos a little bit better to make it a bit more professional, and just kind of went from there. So it's possible. You don't have to be an expert. Anyone can become an expert. And I think that's the cool thing about all these tools that I'm going to go over today, is that you can have any background in the world. You don't have to have a marketing degree, and you can become an excellent marketer. So as I was kind of growing that page and starting to work with different brands, I was working for Lululemon at the time. When I decided to go in a different direction, I was actually teaching yoga and managing a yoga studio, and Lululemon locally in San Diego here asked me to start running their social media channels. And so that was really where I got the biggest push for my career in social media, taking photos, editing the photos, writing the content for the local Lululemon channels, and working with the corporate team that was based out of Canada and LA. And kind of just went from there. And then I started working with some clients on the side, doing some freelance stuff. And then I found my way here to Allison James. So a little bit of a long-winded story, but the moral of the story is that you can start wherever you are, and you can still become really, really great at social media. It just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of having a strategy. So that's kind of leading right into this, why it's even important to have a social media strategy. disclaimer, it's very important. It just allows you to connect with your current clients, future clients, because at the end of the day, everyone's on social media these days. And in order to reach, you should be too. I've shared this probably with a few of you that are on right now, but anytime that I go to look at a new business, whether it's a coffee shop or a hairstylist or whatever it may be, a car servicing place, I always check social media first. I'm going to see if there are reviews. I'm going to see if they have photos that make it look like a legitimate business. I'm going to see who is behind the photos too. And so I know that that's not just me. I think that that's kind of the way of the times these days, is that people are looking online before they make a decision about a company or an individual that they're going to work with in the business world. So it's really important to have that strategy, to know who you want to connect with, how you're going to do it, on what platforms, etc. Strategy is huge because at the end of the day, social media, it's not easy. It takes a lot of time. You have to be really intentional about what you're putting onto your pages, onto your platforms, and it can be very time consuming if you don't have a plan. If you're just sitting there thinking, racking your brain, like, what can I post today? I don't know. I don't have any photos. I need to go create some content. So with a strategy, you take some of that stress out of there, and you're able to then kind of streamline everything and make your whole process a lot more efficient. Which leads to the next point here, is that social media, you can come in hot, you can have all of the kind of gusto at the beginning without a strategy, and you can be like, I'm going to post every day, I'm going to put up some videos, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But without a strategy, that can kind of burn out really quickly, because you can realize that there's not enough time in the day to be doing that organically day after day after day. So it just allows you to have a long-term game rather than just, really committing to it for a month and then kind of letting it taper off, which I think is something that a lot of us end up doing, because it can be a lot of work. And then to that same point, it makes it easy to map out what you're doing months ahead of time if you have a strategy, because you know exactly what you want to post about. You know any big pushes that you have down the pipeline, if you have any events coming up that you would like to be sharing on your social media channels or anything like that. You're able to know exactly what you want to accomplish, even if it's 3 months down the line. So that's kind of the biggest reasons why it's huge to have a strategy. And then these tools that we'll talk about today will kind of help with that strategy a little bit more. Got a few chats coming in. What do we got going on in here? We got someone from Boston. Awesome. And looking, okay, awesome. Cool. So yeah, keep chats coming. If questions come up, guys, I will try to field them as I see them. And then we will have space for Q&A at the end as well. So as a realtor, you are your business, right? So you kind of fall into this small business owner category. So why should you use tools, right? What's the purpose of that? Why are we all on this webinar today? Using these tools, it just allows you to create more content. It allows you to know what kind of content your audience is looking for. You're able to post at the times that your audience is online. A lot of these tools will allow you to look at analytics, and it really does help with figuring out where to go in the future. So if you have all of these things planned out and you're able to see, okay, I have this new content created, I know my audience is going to be online at 9 a.m. PST or whatever it might be. So you're able to get the right content at the right time in front of the right people, and then you can track that. So that's really huge here, is being able to see the return on investment, the ROI on the things that you're posting, and see what is working and what isn't. And like I said, social media is kind of the way of the future in terms of marketing, advertising. Everyone's on social media, and a lot of the time you can be sharing your content for free. Of course, there's ways to boost posts, you can do paid ads and that sort of thing, but organic social media content is a great way to get your brand in front of people without you even having to spend a dime. And it allows you to increase brand awareness. You're able to, through these tools, you're able to manage your interactions so that things are a bit more streamlined. You can see all of the messages and comments that you're getting in one place. You're able to really streamline your branding and your marketing overall. So tools are very, very helpful. I know that we use a ton of them here at Allison James. I use them with my clients that I work with on the side. It really does just make the process a lot more effective and a lot more efficient. So we will dive in here. What makes for a good social media tool? There's a lot of them out there. If you just Google social media tools, it's a bit overwhelming. And so that can be something that alone can turn you off from looking into investing your time into learning a new tool. So a good tool is going to be user-friendly. It's not going to take a lot to start utilizing it. It's a platform that is very straightforward. You're able to navigate very easily. And again, you don't need to be a social media expert in order to use it. A good social media tool also allows you to increase brand awareness. It's something that gets your content in front of more people. It allows you to create an image for your brand. Those are all super, super important features there. Affordable. So with there being so many tools online to choose from, it's important to know that you don't have to spend an arm and a leg in order to get a new tool to add to your toolbox here. A lot of them are free, first of all. And if they are not free, there's going to be an affordable option. And with a lot of them, I'll talk about some of this today, but there's free versions and there's paid versions. And within a lot of those free versions, you have almost all the capabilities as the paid versions. And once you pick a few and you decide what's really working for your business, you're able to then decide, like, okay, maybe I want to invest in the pro version or the premium version or whatever that tool might call it. But at the end of the day, most of these tools are free, and that allows you to streamline your business without even having to invest any more money towards that marketing. Another great thing about these tools is that they keep you organized. So a tool that helps you see all of your content in one place, you can kind of look at a calendar view usually, or it keeps all of your platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you're using, all in one place. It allows you to be more efficient with your engagement, with your messaging back and forth with other clients or other agents. And so those are kind of things to look for when you're looking for a social media tool. Is kind of just, is this free? Am I going to be spending way too much money on this? Or is this something that is a worthwhile investment? And is this going to help me streamline my business? So overview of kind of what we're going to talk about today. We'll be going through Canva, Lightroom. Actually, we're going to be using Sprout Social here instead of later. So Sprout Social is the tool that we actually use here at Allison James. $1.80, and then InShot. So we've got a couple of different, we've got some content creation, photo editing, scheduling, engagement, and video editing that we're going to be kind of working through today, which are a lot of the big points on social media. So I think this will be hopefully helpful. And any questions, again, just drop them in the chat as they come up. So the first one that I'm going to be going over is Canva. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Canva, but it is an awesome, awesome tool. You're able to create a very, very wide range of content within this platform. There's a lot of different social media posts, different templates and that sort of thing. And the really cool thing is that you're able to use this software without being a graphic designer. All of the dimensions are kind of already built in, so you can see exactly where it will fit, whether it's the right size for Instagram or Facebook or whatnot. So I actually have recorded this screen share so you guys can kind of see exactly what the platform, the interface looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this here. And I think this is just a great overview, and any questions, again, just drop them. Looks like you guys are having some issues with the sound. Give me a second here. We got video settings here. If we're not able to hear it, that's okay. I can give you the breakdown of this. Let's see. I'm just going to break it down. So essentially what I'm showing you guys here is just the interface of what the Canva platform looks like. There's tons of different templates. You're able to go in and specify whether or not you want to use an Instagram story, an Instagram post, anything like that. You're also able to create things like calendars or certificates or really anything under the sun that you can imagine. And looking in here, they have all these different seasonal templates. So you're always able to go in if there's a holiday that's happening or anything like that. You can come in and you can customize, which is super great. Are you guys able to hear me now? I want to make sure that everything is working here. Cool. And yes, what you're seeing is all free. So the cool thing is that within Canva, almost everything within the platform is complimentary, and then it will specify if it's something that only qualifies under the Pro membership. And within the Pro membership, the biggest draw is that there's more options of stock photos if that's something that you're using for your marketing, and then you're also able to access an automatic resizing. So if you create a graphic for Instagram, it will resize it for you into Facebook or whatever it is that you're looking for. And yeah, there's a million different templates to choose from, which is really, really cool. So whatever your branding kind of looks like, you're able to go in, you can click on a template, change the colors, change the text. Really, you can make something that looks really, really professional, completely free. And so I think this is probably one of my favorite platforms. I use this for a lot of my clients in order to make everything look very streamlined. And so you can even, what I would recommend using this tool is finding, a font that you stick with, and then you can customize any of these templates to utilize that so that everything looks really, really streamlined and on brand for you. What I was going over here is you can kind of even play with the different elements. If you wanted to use one of these templates, you can drag and drop, you can replace it with different elements so that it's more personal. So that's essentially Canva in a nutshell. I definitely recommend just exploring it, going in there and seeing what kind of templates you might be wanting to use. And then the other cool thing is if the templated version isn't what you're looking for, you can create something from scratch as well. So it has all these different tools. It's essentially Photoshop for those of us that aren't Photoshop pros, right? So you're not having to do a bunch of crazy research in order to create one graphic. You're able to just go in, plug and chug, choose your font, choose your colors, and then go from there. So it's a really, really awesome tool. I highly recommend it. All right, so moving on. So the next tool that we're working with here is Lightroom. And this is something that I swear by. It is free if you download it on your phone. You do need to pay for it on your computer, but on your phone, it's a completely free app, which is very easy to then export to your camera roll and then upload to social media as well. You're able to create your own presets. So if you find different color schemes and that sort of thing that you really like, then you can save that. And then you can add that to all of your photos to create a really cohesive theme, color scheme on your grid, especially Instagram. This is huge. If someone looks at your grid and everything looks super aesthetically pleasing, they're likely to spend more time there. And so they're going to want to see more of the content that you're creating, and then their interest will be piqued and they will want to get to know your brand a little bit more, which then turns into potential leads, potential clients. And it elevates your images to the next level. So I created this little video here. It's super speed. So essentially what I'm showing you in this video is how you can take an image, play around with the colors, with the lighting, with the texture and the grain and that sort of thing to make it look like a completely different product at the end. So super warp speed here, but it starts off, the lighting is pretty low, messing with the colors here. So you can see the sunsets changing in the background, messing with the texture, the clarity, that sort of thing. And it's a completely different product at the end. And it's definitely something that you can customize, but I also understand that going in there and trying to find the right colors and textures and that sort of thing can feel a little overwhelming. So there also are options for presets that you can actually purchase for very cheap on the internet. I have actually done this before for my own personal page. where you can buy presets and apply it to all of your photos. You can find someone online that you really like, that you like their color schemes, and then if you just Google Lightroom presets, you're able to find some really nice aesthetically pleasing color schemes that you can apply to your photos. So this is just another example here. The photo on the left is something that I took, just a raw photo on my iPhone. And then on the right here, I just applied the preset that I've actually created, just the color scheme that I kind of like to have on my Instagram feed. I have a lot of just, you know, ocean photography. And so I've got a specific color scheme that I'm going for. And so you can just see it it really elevates the photo, and you don't have to be a professional. You can just literally copy and paste your preset, and you can go from having a photo that looks okay to having a photo that looks like it was professionally taken. And so for me, this is one of my favorite tools, especially for Instagram. It just allows you to elevate your photos with a couple clicks of a button, export, and then you're on your way. So highly, highly, highly recommend Lightroom. It's definitely one of those tools that it can take a little bit of time to get used to play around with. But like I said, when you're using those templates, those presets, you're able to just copy paste. Your photo goes from okay to professional in just one click. So I think it's a really great tool. We've got some chats in a minute. Let's see what you're asking here. Is Lightroom an app? Yes. It's Adobe Lightroom. So if you are, I believe it's on iPhone, Android. If you look at Adobe Lightroom, you'll find that in the App Store. And like I said, on the computer, if you're going for the desktop version, that one is a paid version, but on your phone, it's a free one. And it's something that I can't recommend enough. I use it for our social media at Allison James. I use it for all of my clients if I'm editing photos for them, and then also just for personal use too. It's a super great tool. Okay, so our next one here, Sprout Social. So this is one that I could really spend an entire webinar talking about, just because I think it's such a great tool. It has so many different functionalities within one platform. And while this is one of the tools that, like, I think one of the only tools that I'm talking about here that is a paid tool, it's something that I really think can elevate your presence on social media with just signing up for one extra tool here. It has the opportunity for social media listening, which is huge. So this allows you, what this is it allows you to see what people in your industry, in your niche, your sphere of influence are talking about on social media, what they're posting about, what is trending right now within your industry, what are people engaging with the most. So within Sprout Social, you can see some of that, looking at competitors and stuff like that, to see what hashtags are trending right now, what kind of content is performing. And so I think that's really huge. It's something that allows you to kind of measure yourself. It's a bit of a litmus test in the industry. So that's a hugely important tool. Built-in analytics. So this is something that it really is a game changer. When you get started on social media, it's really important to kind of track where your progress is, what is actually performing well and what's not. Otherwise, you might just be sharing content that's not getting seen without even knowing why you're posting it, right? So a big part of social media is, when you're using it for a business, is to be posting with intention, to be sharing content that's valuable to your audience, sharing content that is hopefully, ideally, going to land you more leads in the future, content that's going to get your brand out in front of the people that you're hoping to reach. So the analytics that are within Sprout Social, it's amazing. It's week by week. You can have all of your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, I believe Pinterest, if you have it, if that's something that you're using, you're able to have it all in one place, and it will allow you to see different reports for each of those platforms, and it does it every single week. So it's super, super useful. Social media content scheduling and publishing. So I'll go over that a bit more in the next slide, but there is a calendar view where you're able to just upload your content. You can upload it to all of the different platforms that you're using and see that in one place. If you're working with a team, if you have more than one person you'd like to be using for this platform, you're able to have more than one username within the same same login, so that you can collaborate with your team. You can task other members of your team to complete certain things, whether it's communication or, scheduling or anything like that. And then there is a smart inbox, which I will also go over a bit more in this next slide. So learning that the sound didn't work here, I'll kind of just walk you guys through what this video is, what I was saying here before. So this is kind of what the dashboard looks like when you log into Sprout Social. So you can see that it'll tell you if you've got new messages. It'll tell you how many posts are still scheduled for the day, messages sent that day. So you have this brief overview of what's going on a given day within the platform. Something at the bottom, their support team is awesome. There's a live chat and they are always available if you're having any issues, if your content's not being scheduled or posted as needed. This is kind of just a breakdown of like the engagement, the analytics, that map there. So it has that without even having to open any of those reports. Publishing, so this is what I was talking about with the calendar view here. So you're able to plan your content out in advance, which is just huge for just peace of mind, for efficiency. So you can go into each calendar day, you can see what's scheduled on here, and we do some scheduling organically within the app, whether if it's going to be a reel on Instagram or something like that. So that is one limitation, is that reels are not an option on here yet, but for feed posts, for YouTube, for any of that, we're able to go and click that button and we'll schedule a post. So you would write in your caption there, and as you can see at the top, it's already plugged into our Facebook and our Instagram, so you can just post at one time. You can also post to Twitter or LinkedIn, YouTube, all at the same time if the content is relevant across platforms. You're able to just go in there, upload a photo or upload a video, whatever kind of content. You're able to tag your location, you're able to tag other users, and that's all within this platform. You never have to go into Instagram, you never have to go into Facebook. You can do it all from Sprout Social, which is huge. You're able to add, if you want to do a first comment on Instagram with hashtags, you can do this here. And then a cool feature here is that based on your analytics, based on when your audience is online, it picks up on that. It does the social listening and it'll show you the optimal times here to post. So you can see there's certain times a day that are going to be better for your specific audience. So you just click the one that's going to be the highest performing. And then obviously there's not an actual post here, but then you just click schedule and then you don't have to worry about it. It's scheduled out and you could do that a month ahead of time and you would never have to think twice about it. And if for some reason there was an issue with the post, Sprout Social will notify you via email, or if you have the app on your phone, they would notify you via push notification, which is super, super great. One other thing I wanted to go over here is the smart inbox. And so this is a really great tool because it allows you to respond to any message across any platform that you're receiving. So you can see Facebook comments, you can see Facebook messages, you can see Instagram comments, etc. And as you can see, we have lots of different logins here. We've got different pages that we're running. So we're able to look at all of those comments in one place. We can see which messages have been responded to, and then you can mark them off as complete as well. And so that's kind of one of the biggest lifesavers, time savers, is being able to keep up with that engagement in one place. And then again, looking at this engagement here, seeing what days have been performing better, what kind of platforms we're performing better on. And then there's also the option to really break it down one platform by platform, the reports for the week. So it's a super cool tool. Definitely if scheduling time, if time is one of your biggest concerns within the app, I would definitely, within your social media, I would recommend using one of these tools, one of those scheduling tools. Sprout Social it's awesome. You guys, I've used a ton of different scheduling tools during my time as social media manager across different positions. Sprout is the best one I've come across, and their support team is really, really great, which is huge because sometimes, it's technology, sometimes things go wrong, but you're able to access them whenever you need them. The next one that I wanted to go over here is $1.80. So let's see, I've got a chat real quick. Let's see what's going on here. The cost. So Sprout Social, it depends. They have different different packages depending on the level of support and level of tools that you're looking for. So I would check it out. I believe there is a free trial as well. I think it's a 2-week free trial, if not a month. And you're able to check it out, see if it's going to work for your business, and play around with the tools and see if it's even something that would help you. And if it is something that feels like it's helpful, then you can look at the different options in terms of pricing. And then something else that I love about Sprout is that they actually have a ton of training videos too within the platform. And so if there's one specific feature that you're not really feeling confident in, they have training webinars pre-recorded that are about all of the different ins and outs of the platform. So you're able to learn how to do all of the different tasks and become an expert at it within the platform. And all of those webinars are totally free. So it's huge. And they also from time to time will have a webinar about something specific, some new trend on social media. And as a user, you have access to that and you're able to join the webinar. So it's definitely, while it is one of the more costly tools here that we're going over today, I recommend it. I think it's worth the investment, especially if you're feeling like you're just busy and you don't have the time, because it's a one-stop shop. So it's a really awesome tool. Okay, so the next one here, $1.80. So a huge part of social media, and this is something that we talked about in the January webinar, if you guys were on there, engagement, being social on social media, right? It's not just something that you throw a post up on your feed and then you wait for people to come to you and become your client after that, right? That's not really quite how it works. So that'd be a lot easier if it was. And sure, sometimes that does work. Someone really resonates with something that you post and they send you a message and it creates just a natural conversation. But engagement is something that does take some effort. And $1.80 is a tool that allows you to strategize that engagement. And it holds you accountable. It keeps track of how much you are actually engaging with your sphere of influence. And so it's essentially a tool that allows you to search for hashtags, search for people within your niche. And I have another little video recorded here so I can kind of go through that here. I'll just have to narrate. It might be a little bit off, but let's see. Okay. So this is kind of what the interface looks like. You're able to, within the platform, search for specific hashtags that are trending within your niche. So you can see with Alice and James, we're on here. We've saved Realtor, Realtor Life, Realtors of Instagram, etc. And essentially, once you have found these hashtags, then you're able to then go and engage with the top posts within. So I think what I was saying here is that why it's called $1.80 is that in theory, if you had the time, you could comment on 90 posts a day and give your 2 cents. So 90 posts, 2 cents, $1.80. So if we wanted to search for something super specific, California Realtor, I think is where I'm going here. If you're in a specific location, you can target that to wherever you're at. And then once we have that hashtag, we'll go to the posts and you can see all the top posts within that hashtag. So then you can go and start engaging with those people. You would just click on the post and you can leave a comment from there. And I think it's important to note that hashtags, while there are some bigger ones that you might want to be engaging with, whether it's just hashtag real estate or something like that, it's in your best interest to also look at hashtags that are more specific to where you are, or if you have a very specific niche within real estate, that's also something to consider. And so you can see here on the right hand side, there's all these different orange comments. So these are comments that I've left previously on other posts. And the cool thing is, once you've left one of these comments, if it applies to whatever's going on in this caption, you're actually able to just click it and you can add that to the post. So she's talking about personal growth here. So I've added a comment before talking about inspiration and thank you for sharing and that sort of thing. So I think go ahead and click that here, add that to the post. I don't even have to spend time writing a new comment. It's still authentic and it's still genuine because it's relevant to what she's talking about here, but saves a ton of time because you're not having to recreate the wheel every time that you're going in and commenting on someone's post. And so within the free version of $1.80, I do believe you can comment up to 10 comments a day. If you want to go more than that and really commit to engagement, there is a paid version. But if you just want to start just holding yourself a bit more accountable with the engagement, 10 posts a day is great. That's a great goal. I'm going to go and I'm going to find 10 people that I wouldn't have connected with otherwise, and I'm going to say something meaningful. And so you can see I'm just adding another hashtag here, San Diego real estate. So if I wanted to get really specific, go in and comment on one of these posts. And so that's essentially how $1.80 works. And it seems like a simple thing, but engagement truly is what is going to get your content in front of the most people the quickest, because social media is, so much of it is about being authentic, allowing people to build a relationship with you and building a relationship right back with them. Responding to their comments, yes, when they comment on your content, and having a meaningful response there. Any direct messages that are coming in, responding to those too. It's super important because it shows that you're accessible and it shows that there's a real person behind your business. But then it's also so important to outwardly engage, because when you are putting yourself out there and you're leaving valuable, authentic comments on other people's content, it shows that you're open to making connections, and it just makes you more accessible. It makes you more trustworthy. And that's something that's huge on social media. Going back to what I was saying earlier, if I am looking for a new hairstylist, or if I'm looking for someone to fix my car, I want to see that they are someone I can trust. I want to see that they have relationships with their clients, that they are spending the time to get to know the people that are present on their pages. And so it's the same thing. Real estate is all about relationships, right? So you're going out and you're meeting people and you're building connections. And that doesn't have to be limited to in-person connections, especially right now, everything is virtual. So social media gives you this really great opportunity to build authentic relationships with current clients and nurturing current relationships. Maybe you see them post something about someone had a baby, it's someone's birthday, something like that, an anniversary. And if you leave a comment that's genuine, that is personal, that shows that you care, that is going to leave an impact. That is going to stay in the back of their mind, so that when they are looking to buy or sell a new home, they're going to remember that you cared, that you were a real person, that you weren't just a business. So I think that this one is really huge. So the next tool that I'm going to go over here is InShot. So this is a video editing tool. And to be honest, as the more that I'm reading about what is effective in marketing right now, the more that I'm seeing that video content is the way of the present and the future. People on social media and just people in general have very short attention spans, right? So if you aren't able to capture their attention within 7 seconds, they're on to the next one. They're looking at the next post, they're scrolling through their feed. There's just an endless amount of content. So video is a great way to make your content specifically stand out. And so you can just record a video within the app organically within Instagram, and that works. But using a video editing app allows your content to be a lot more professional. It allows you to create a sense of brand feel within the video. You're able to edit out any mistakes, because obviously doing live video, you never know if maybe you trip over a word here or there, or if there's something that you wanted to cut out in terms of like imagery in the background. If you're doing a virtual tour and you're like, I didn't really like that shot. A tool like InShot allows you to make your video exactly what you want it to be within a free app. And there's a free version, there's a paid version, but within the free version, you're able to do a ton of cool stuff and customize it to exactly what you want it to be. So again, this is going to be kind of a hyperspeed video, video inception of the Lightroom video that I created. So I'll just kind of walk through what's going on here. So you're able to create the canvas. I'm going to pause it. We'll go back there in a second, but you're able to create the canvas size based on what app you're going to be using. So if you're using Instagram, if you're using, TikTok, whatever it might be, you're able to go back and size it to exactly what you want it to be. And then I'll play this over here. So that's the canvas here, and you can see that it's shifted the size. If I wanted to make it faster, which I did because I didn't want to be spending a minute on this video, you're able to trim your clip. So if there's things that you wanted to leave out, you can. You can add in music. So that was kind of what was at that last part there. So you're able to search for music within the app, and there's a lot of free music content that you can add to the background. And you can just apply that. You can trim the clip by just literally pinching your fingers, and so you can cut out certain parts if you'd like. You can add stickers if you want to add a little bit of something fun. We got something coming in the chat here called InShot. Yes. So InShot video, I believe is just one word, InShot, and it's a super easy tool to use. I think video editing can be overwhelming, but within this app, everything is super straightforward. You're able to do everything within this one place. You can, the trimming tool is huge. You're able to cut out just little pieces of the video, and it'll be a seamless transition. You can add filters. So if you wanted to add different color schemes to it, or just make the color pop a little bit more, there's different transitions that you can use. And again, there's so many capabilities just within the free version that you don't even need to pay for it. And then it just allows you to export directly to your phone. And then you have a professional looking video that you can easily just upload to Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you want to be using it on. So I think this tool is great, especially with how prominent video content is right now. Everything that I'm seeing, every marketing expert that I am following just keeps reiterating video content is the way to go right now. What have we got going here? Can you add voiceover? I do believe you can. Yeah. So there's just a ton that you can do here. So for virtual showings, this is great. Or just if you want to post a video talking about a real estate tip or something like that, you're able to just spice it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more professional. Again, really recommend trying this tool out and seeing how it lands for you. And that's the thing about these tools is maybe not all of these are going to be something that you're realistically going to utilize, but it's worth trying to see if it can help your business. And if it's going to make your life easier, it's definitely a worthwhile tool to have on your phone, to just come back to if you do need to edit a video really quickly. I know that there's like the iMovie or whatever within iPhone, but I think that this one is just a lot more user friendly, and being able to work with the trimming the clip so easily, the filters, the music, it's a really streamlined tool. And that is all that I have for you guys today. So any questions that you might have, I am happy to answer them right now. Anything that came up, if there's anything that you'd like me to go back to and dive into a little bit more, I'm happy to do that as well. All right. And I think I'm happy to, if you have questions after the webinar as well, if you try out one of these tools, send me an email, and I'm happy to kind of connect with you about that as well. If you are an Allison James agent, we also have the option for that social media consultation that you can book within the app. So that is always an option as well. What do we have coming in? Thank you guys. Thanks for joining in. It's always super fun to talk about this stuff. It's something that I'm passionate about and I really enjoy. And, I've done a lot of self-learning over the years, so I'm happy to share it with you. And again, this webinar is recorded. And so if there's something that you were like, oh, what did she say about whatever app that was, you can always come back and access it through YouTube, our YouTube channel. And then within the Allison James app, I think we will also have all these webinar recordings if you're one of our agents. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in. I'm glad that you enjoyed the content. And let me know if you do try out any of these tools. I'd love to hear about it. What to post as a realtor and how to target the right audience for your business. So that is something that it's a bit more specific. This was just kind of more of an overview of tools that are going to help you. But in terms of posting as a realtor, Stephen, are you one of our agents? I'm happy to jump on a consultation with you. And then we can talk a bit more about that. In the last webinar, the one that I hosted in January, we also talked a bit more about that. So if you want to go to our YouTube channel, kind of dove into that, shared a content calendar there as well for some strategy ideas. Yes, Canva's awesome, Lisa. It's such a useful tool. It really does make you feel like you're a professional graphic designer even without any graphic design background. Super, super awesome. Let me find that YouTube channel for you, Stephen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Allison's YouTube. And yeah, we do have a ton of webinar content on there. So even if there's something outside of social media that you're interested in learning more about, it's definitely a great place to find some more information. So there is the link to our YouTube. And then that previous webinar, like I said, we went over a lot more about content strategy and that sort of thing, and just how to be more active on social media. Awesome. I've got my email here too as well, you guys. If you have any questions and you want to follow up, or if you use these tools and you get something out of it, or if you don't, if you're like, maybe that could have been a better tool, or I have other suggestions, I would love to hear about it. It's super important that you guys are feeling supported, so I want to be able to do that for you as much as I can. Awesome. Well, I think if there are no more questions, you guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, this will be posted to our YouTube channel. And so if you want to come back to reference it, let's see, I'm going to post that YouTube again. Give me just a second. See that you didn't see it. Okay. And then here's my email address as well. Perfect. Did that go through? Awesome. Okay, you guys, any last minute questions? All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and looking forward to the next one. And yeah, I would love to stay in touch, so let me know what works for you guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday.